All right, so I have put together a a retro Pi with a Sega Genesis kind of style or Mega Drive Pi case from retroflag, and I picked up a 8-bit do, whatever it is. Nobody seems to be able to know anymore. But yeah, I picked up one of their wireless Pro controller things for it, and I set up my own image. I was trying pre-made images, but they were all too buggy and just didn't work at all. And I just figured I'd make my own, and it seems to be working fine. So I found making my own image was easier than using a pre-made because literally it didn't work. But anyways. So with this case, they have a shutdown. So you have there's a possibility for a safe shutdown script. RetroPie didn't like my keyboard, I guess. I tried setting it up in like the US with the US keyboard settings, US English and all that, but it didn't care. It was like, yeah, whatever, go fuck yourself. And basically I couldn't type in the command to download the shutdown script. So I gave up and set it as a kill switch. And if I need to shut down safely, I'll just do it in software with the controller. But yeah, so anyways, this is the case. Found it to be fairly simple to put together. Not the easiest case to put together, but it was still easy. Let's see if I have... Anyway, no, not that bright. Okay, anyway, so, yeah. But I put this together fairly simple. You just plug stuff in and blah, blah, blah. But they did short me 2 screws. So I had to use my own screws, 2 of my own screws. This does actually resemble almost identically the Genesis. I don't have a Mega Drive, but right here I have my Genesis that got beat up in when moving. My Sega Genesis. And I also have that stupid at games thing, so you can compare. Let's try to sharpen that up a little. So here we have the original, almost, not the Mega Drive, but the Sega Genesis. This one's scratched up a bit. It used to look really nice, but it's all scratched now. Anyway, so they actually went as far as to try to replicate the bottom of the Sega Genesis with this. We look at the bottom here, and we have the vents. We have this little, I don't know if this is for the Sega CD or something or whatever it is. We even have these little... They actually replicated the 4 rubber feet on the bottom or whatever I think they're plastic. But they did that. They even replicated this nub here and some of the indentations and things. It has the same 6 screws, except because of the Pi having to be installed, they're a little bit closer to the edge. So I'm going to show you, turn this over, and I don't know if you can see. You see we have that little nub. We have this right there. We have these 4 little, these are rubber, I believe, on here. No, they're plastic. They actually made them, well, one's rubber and one's plastic. So ones are here are rubber, the ones over there are plastic. Let me see. Yeah, those are all plastic, but they did that. Vents aren't 100% the same. It may be different on the Mega Drive, I don't know. But like, yeah, they just went kind of crazy. The screws here, they got them as close as they could on this side. And you got, like I said, I pointed out the vents, and there's even labels like right here and here where the paper labels are there. These are like part of the plastic, but so they went fairly far to replicate the look of the Genesis, even as far as to try to replicate the underside as best they could. So yeah, I thought that was cool. And we are sharp. Everything's sharpened. So yeah, we got a SNES controller, so a style controller with, or actually a Famicom style controller, Super Famicom style controller with Sega Genesis. I like the color of the buttons. They kind of remind me of this candy I used to eat as a kid that tasted like dish soap, and for some reason I liked it. It was called Spree. But for some reason it reminds me of that, and that makes me like it. I can't eat that stuff anymore, but you know. This is a really nice controller too. There's a lot of reviews on it. Very similar to the original SNES controller, except it has analog sticks and triggers and stuff. It also has capture buttons and things for the Nintendo Switch, because it works with a Nintendo Switch. I just don't need it for the Nintendo Switch. And now that we have compared that to the Sega Genesis, the real Sega Genesis, let's take this. Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Oh, crap. I can't. Oh, shit. Oh, I dropped it. Anyways, let's compare it to the At Games. And unlike, what was that guy's name? Unlike someone else, I meant to burp. Yeah, so here's the At Games console here, and of course on here it's still all right design, even though I don't like At Games. It's still an okay design. It's not terrible, but it's definitely cheaper feeling, kind of flimsy. Does take carts. The 16-bit logo is not raised like it is on this case here, which is more accurate to the original. The plastic is nicer too. There's a reset button and a power switch, but no volume, which the volume on here is an eject for storage. Yoo-hoo. But the one thing that this has stock is that it has Genesis controller ports. And it comes with a controller, which isn't horrible, but it's not wonderful. And you can play carts on it, like I said. Other than that, the underside is not that much similar to the original Sega Genesis in any way, so they didn't really care about that. But it looks very similar. In fact, my friend actually thought it was a real Sega Genesis when he came over. He was wondering why, I was mistreating my Sega Genesis, and I was like, it's not a Sega Genesis. It's not even close, but whatever. So there we have that. So we get that out of here. Okay, so now we did that comparison. Let's do a different comparison. My nose is running. We have this, an SNES Classic, which I bought a while ago as a kind of impulse buy because there weren't really any, and it was very hard to say no, and I hacked it and stuff. But yeah, they look really cool. Like it makes me want to get a shelf and just use it to display it on, but this is too good to just leave it as a display item. So that's that. So yeah, they also make a SNES case for the Pi that looks very similar to that. So if you wanted that, you could have it. But yeah, that's about all. So I'm going to switch over to my image that I created. I'm going to just kind of put these two videos together so you can see my image in progress and fun stuff, just because I like showing shit off. Yay!